Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you today with some very, very, very sad news. Um, my grandma, Safta Miriam, has sadly passed away. I know how much she meant to this community, and I know that she had an impact on so many of you. I thought I would read a little something and explain the situation. So here it is. My last living grandparent just passed away. Miriam Shemesh, born Miriam Levy, my grandmother from Baghdad, Iraq, has left us. Safta touched so many of you. She reached the hearts of so many people around the world, quite literally millions of people. In her last 2 years here on earth, she helped me literally bridge the gap between the descendants of the Arab Muslims in Iraq that kicked her and her family out after the Farhud, and she helped me make content to make some reconciliation between our peoples, the Jews of Iraq, the Muslims of Iraq. Not many people know this, but one of the biggest reasons I came back to live in Israel post October 7th was Safta Miriam. I couldn't handle people labeling my family and myself, and more particularly her, as a white colonizer. I felt a deep urge in my heart to tell her story to the whole world, and boy did we do that. We launched a successful merch brand based on all of that too. Safta Miriam was a refugee of ethnic cleansing. She was a Babylonian Jew from a Levite family. She came from an ancient stream of Israelites casted out into slavery thousands of years ago in a foreign land called Babylon. But most important, she was our grandmother. She was my grandmother. She cooked for us. She cleaned for us. For me and all my cousins and my entire family, we always had a home that we could come to and feel at home in. And finally, this week, she was sadly laid to rest in the land of Israel, the place her and her family strived to return to for 2,000 years. It was my job, it is my job still, and it's our job, it's your job as well, no matter what Jew you are, no matter what background you come from, Ashkenazi, Mizrahi, Ethiopian, it doesn't matter what background you come from, to tell her story, to tell the story of Safta Miriam, so that it's never ever forgotten. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet and Zichona Livracha. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very dark it's been a very dark couple of days. This happened a few days ago. Safta, as some of you guys know, she has been dealing with a vast array of ailments and nonstop medical conditions for the last couple of years. Actually, for almost 10 years now, but it really exacerbated since October 7th. And since I came back to live here, I've just watched her condition deteriorate over and over and over and over again over the course of the last couple years. June 2nd, me and my girlfriend flew out of the country to go on a trip for my birthday. My birthday was June 4th. I turned 30th. And I like on my birthday to leave Israel and to go travel to a different place and go have a cool experience. June 2nd, I flew to Slovenia. And en route to Malta, I was going to do a bunch of countries with my girlfriend. I get a call when we got off the plane that my grandma was rushed to the hospital again. She had been rushed to the hospital so many times before, but everything seemed to be good before we left. And that it was going to be the end. But the way that I had planned my trip was that I wouldn't easily be able to come back. We were reaching far places that flights, right now in Israel, it's hard to fly in and out of. A little bit, especially when you're going to some random places in Europe. It's not easy and you can't get back quick. So my easiest route was to come back. It would have taken around 36 to 48 hours. So we waited and her condition improved slightly. And from June 2nd, and I'm sorry, by the way, for the mess in the studio. I literally just returned to my studio an hour ago. It's still a mess in here. I just got back to the country and went straight to the Shiva, which I'll explain in a second for people who don't understand what a Shiva is. As we were traveling around Europe for my birthday trip over the course of the last 3 weeks, her condition improved. It got better. It got worse. It got better. It got worse. And it seemed like she was actually somewhat stable, that she would hold out until I returned to Israel on June 24th. And then on June 22nd, her condition deteriorated rapidly when we were in Romania, actually on the border of Serbia and Romania in the middle of nowhere. Far away from any airport, far away from being able to reach Israel with a flight in 2 days to Israel. She was put on morphine, and in just a matter of 24 hours, she was gone. I missed her funeral. I missed her death. I missed everything. In a way, it's a bit poetic because I planned a really incredible trip for me and my girlfriend, and she really loved my girlfriend. And we managed to go through the entire itinerary of the trip with her being alive until the very last day of the trip. We had nothing left on our trip, and there were some lifelong dreams I accomplished on this trip. I hit traveling to 80 countries, which was a big goal of mine. I officially have been to 80 countries now around the world on my way to 100. And she left us a day before. It's been very sad, very emotional. My whole family has come together in Israel. It's the reason why I've been a little bit quiet. Not just in the last month, also I've been traveling, but also been kind of keeping an eye on my grandma's situation. But also the last couple of days specifically, I've been very quiet, haven't been recording because this happened, obviously. So I'm spending as much time right now with my family as I can at the Shiva. Shiva, for those of you who don't know, when a Jewish person passes, we have a custom to sit in the house for 7 days. That's where the word Shiva comes from, 7. Mourn, remember the good stuff, remember the bad stuff, laugh, drink, eat food, pray. So yesterday, right as I arrived off the flight, right to the Shiva to see my whole family, some family members I haven't seen in a very long time. And for those of you guys who don't know, I was like this with my grandma. My grandma and my grandfather from my mom's side meant the world to me. They were so influential in my life. Her husband, Sabaeza, was debatably the closest person in my family to me, other than my mom. They meant the world to me. And Safta, particularly in the last 2 years, I have been with her weekly, almost every week, sometimes multiple times a week, bringing her cookies, bringing her, learning how to play music from Iraq for her on my oud back there while she was sick, trying to make her happy. And I'm really proud of the time we got to spend together in the last couple of years. And it's almost more time than I've ever spent with her my entire life, because my whole life I've been traveling back and forth to Israel. I only had a small period in my childhood where we lived here constantly for a few years, but other than my adult life, I've always been in and out. This has been a block of time. I'm almost 3 years since October 7th, where I've consistently been here with her and been able to see her and do Shabbat Kiddush with her and hang out with her and joke with her and make music with her and tell her story. And really what I said in the opening of this video about us telling her story, we have accomplished the impossible in the last couple of years. I have a following of Iraqi Muslims, descendants of literally the people who kicked my grandparents out of Iraq, who have apologized because of Safta, who have come around to accepting some, not all, but some points of Israel, Judaism, and Zionism because of my grandma. Because I can talk as the descendant of an Iraqi Jew, but I am not an Iraqi Jew, not a real one. I'm not a full-blood Iraqi Jew. My other grandparents are from Turkey and Iran, so I'm not even fully Iraqi Jew. I have no experience living in Iraq. I grew up with some of the customs, but I'm 3 generations removed from what it means to be a real, fully fledged Iraqi Jew. She's the real deal. She was the real deal. And she was the real deal until her final days. And we were telling the story. I mean, the most recent video I made with her was for the holiday of Purim, before her condition got very bad. And we were talking about how she was saved by the Shah of Iran, how the Iranian people at the time of the Shah, before the Islamic Republic came up and destroyed relations between Jews and Iranians, how they saved her. People don't know this about my grandma. She spent 30 days in Iran after the Farhud, when they were escaping Iraq and escaping the Muslim radicals there. The Iranians saved the Iraqi Jews. They brought them to Tehran, they stabilized them a bit, and then they flew them to Tel Aviv. That my grandma was on those flights. She was in Iran for for 30 days, for a month. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of some clips that I've recorded throughout my years. These are on the channel if you want to look this up. It's called Making Bulekas in Israel, Cooking with Clat. We'll just look at a couple minutes each of these clips so you see who my grandma was. This is almost 10 years ago, so she's in a way better condition here. Take a look at this. Hey, class! Today we're back in my grandparents' kitchen with my Safta. So today we're going to be making a thing called bulekas. It's traditionally eaten here in Israel, and it's really delicious. It's like a baked good filled with cheese, and Grandma's gonna make it with us. Okay, מה אנחנו עושים קודם, סבתא?
קודם כל פותחים את הבצק.
There's a little height difference.
פותחים את הבצק, מחלקים אותו, פותחים.
This was the essence of my grandma, always cooking, always a bit stern. So bolekes can be eaten two ways, with meat or with cheese. Today we're making the cheese version. Cheese in Hebrew is gvina.
ממלאים וסוגרים.
Very humble, you know. Very humble family. They didn't come from much, you know.
מניחים במגש.
My side of my grandma's family. Very simple kitchen. This is the same house, by the way, that we're mourning in right now. She never left this house. Almost 50 years they've lived in the same place. She's a professional. Look at that. We put it on our tray. We followed the same steps over and over again until the tray was filled up. Until my grandpa got bored and decided he wants some attention. My grandfather passed away in 2017, by the way, a few years ago. And he was, like I said, very, very, very close with me.
עזרא, תפסיק. עזרא. תפסיק באמת, אל תשגע אותי.
אני רציתי להופיע בטלוויזיה שלו.
Did that phone go off? My grandpa's a little troublemaker. Huh? Asam? תפסתי אותך.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
אני יד שנייה פה. אני השליח של הבית. אני מכין בורקס לנכד שלי. הוא עזב את ארצות הברית בגלל שיבוא לאכול בורקס ישראלי. תודה.
He made so much sense right there. נכון, סבא?
אני לא צריך לעשות שם. אני יד שנייה שאני מכין שם. מה קרה, מירי?
This was our life. Me and my grandfather always trolling my grandma, always stressing her out while she's cooking or cleaning and playing games and just doing hilarious shit together. And here is a bit more of a background of the story of what they endured. My grandparents were born in Baghdad, Iraq in the 1930s. They spent a lot of their time as kids playing and working. Life was much more simple back then. There weren't too many conflicts between Jews and Arabs. My grandparents spent much of their youth freely practicing their religion in the large Jewish community of Baghdad. Life was good. Until one day, everything went wrong. Following the defeat of Rashid Ali by the British, riots ensued all over the city of Baghdad. Over 180 Jews were killed, 1,000 injured, and countless homes were destroyed and looted. This was known as the Farhud. In fear of their lives, my grandparents and many other Arab Jews left their homes and fled the country in hopes to find a place they could live in peace. That place was the land of Israel.
ירושלים של זהב ושל נפט
So I made this video ages ago. I made this video like over 10 years ago. I used to document their life, and the one thing I'm very proud of is I have decades, or not, probably decades at this point, of footage of them giving testimony of what they endured in Iraq. I promise you guys one day it'll be a part of my career. I will produce it into either a major film or a major documentary to tell the story of what they went through. I'll continue to give speeches about this. I'll continue to tell the story. I expect many of you to do the same. I hope that you guys will. I give you full permission to tell the story of my grandparents. And I'll show you guys an example of something amazing, somebody doing that for me recently. But here's a little bit more about my grandparents. There she is. This is my grandma. And check out, this is their doorbell. So this is my grandparents' humble abode. This is my grandma. תגידי שלום סבתא. את יודעת משהו באנגלית להגיד?
I love you. Good morning.
They weren't taught much English as kids, so they don't. It's so weird to think that she's not here anymore. Like, it's such a I was with her a couple weeks ago, talking to her. It's so crazy. It's such a wild thing. I've known her my whole entire life. Like, it's such a crazy thing. I don't know that much, but here's the beautiful kitchen. I have lots of memories here as a kid because we'd always come here and eat. My grandma's sort of kind of obsessed with food, much like me. But she loves cooking it, and it's kind of a deal of respect. If you don't eat your food here, it's like you can get into some shit. So better shape up and eat that food, boy. And as you can see on the wall, you got lots of snacks you can see there. Little one. Here's some testimony from my grandma. That's your boy, the traveling fat, right there. Yalla.
באנו לישראל ב-50. אני עקרת בית, מבשלת, מנקה, אוהבת את הנכדים, וככה חיים יפה, אני מרוצה מהחיים.
So this right here is my grandpa, Ezra.
מה קרה?
known as Saba Ezra.
מה קרה? אני נולדתי בבגדד בשנת 1932, ובשנת 41 היה לנו מורעות בעיראק, ואז אנחנו התכוננו לעזוב ולבוא לארץ ישראל. אני באתי לארץ, עבדתי עד היום הזה, ואני עכשיו פנסיונר. אני עכשיו ספק של הבית. מביא להם את האוכל. מאלף עד תף, אפילו נייר טואלט.
So he also learned some English phrases while he was in school. דבר קצת באנגלית, תגיד להם משהו. He learned the English, by the way, because the Iraq was occupied, this whole area was occupied by the British at a certain point. In Israel, too. He used to sell shoelaces to the British. That's what he did to try to make some money when he was a boy.
בעיראק למדתי אנגלית. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I just love the way he waddles around. It's the best thing in the world. Ever since I So this was a big part of my life. It's funny because I grew up in the United States of America. I always talk about this. I was born in Miami. But I lived my whole life between Israel and the United States of America. I love countries deeply. But the only point of consistency I've ever had as a kid is my grandma's house, my grandparents' house. And that chapter of my life is over. It's over at the age of 30. For 30 years, I've never had a childhood home that's still my parents' home. All I've done is move around my whole life. And for the last 10 years, all I've done is travel to 80 countries, over 10 years now, since 2014. And that house, my grandparents' house, my grandma's house, was the only point, geographic point of consistency of my entire life. Everyone else, all my other family members, everyone's moved. That's the only one. And now it's over. I mean, the house is not going to be, either under a possession, it's going to be rented out because no one's going to be living there anymore. And it's a strange feeling because for my whole life, even until recently, folks, you don't know this because I have a personal life, but some days where I wasn't working or in the middle of work, I'd come here, record some reaction videos, and just go hang out with my grandma. Especially during the war, I'd grab a Game Boy and just go sit on the couch with her. We just chat, listen to some Iraqi music, eat something, joke around, have some cookies. That's over. It's gone. Sorry. It's never going to happen again. And it's a fucking weird feeling. It is a strange feeling. It was strange when my grandfather passed away that he wasn't home, but my grandma for the last 10 years was sort of a point of consistency in my life. And that's gone. And it's very weird. It's a very strange feeling. Yesterday when we were praying during the Shiva, we were doing Kaddish, which is a prayer for lost soul or for people who have passed away. And I was standing between my cousin. Me and my cousin were very close to my grandmother, and me and my cousin are very close. And I really felt her spirit right between the two of us, like looking at us or hanging out there. You say this Kaddish to help elevate the soul into a higher place. And it was a weird feeling to stand right where she was sleeping in her bed the last couple months. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was coming to bring her cookies. And it's all over now. And it's very strange, folks. It's a very weird feeling. I don't even know if I fully processed it. I mean, I think it'll come to terms over time, but it's like, that's it. I don't have any grandparents anymore. I don't have anyone to talk about what they went through anymore. Like the Farhud, and like even I know more of the knowledge about it than my own parents do. More than my uncles and my aunts, because I researched it with them and I spent so many hours talking to them about it. It was a very big honor. The day before she fell very sick, on June 1st, right before I flew out of the country, I gave a speech in Jerusalem. I was actually invited to the president's house, Isaac Herzog of Israel, to an event about the Farhud. And just a couple hours later, I gave a speech, which on this channel has now reached over 100,000 views, which was a huge honor. Over 100,000 views. My most watched speech ever that I've ever given, about what my grandparents went through in Iraq, about being an Iraqi Jew, about the power of this story. And I want to show you guys one last thing before I go here. I have a friend. His name is Barak Schwartz. He has a page on Instagram and YouTube, everything, called Other Barak. He's become a very, very close friend of mine. We don't agree on everything, by the way. And he has become recently a pretty controversial character. And I'm very proud of him for everything that he does. But the day that my grandma fell sick, when I was abroad, he happened to make a video about the Farhud. I want you guys to watch this real quick. This is just my friend, by the way. He never even met my grandma. Talked to her on the phone once, but never met her.
Paul, this is his grandmother. He has shared with me her full story in the past, and I'm going to give you a couple of anecdotes from what this woman went through in the Farhud. Of course, why now? June 1st, June 2nd, we are commemorating the 85th year anniversary of what happened June 1st and June 2nd, 1941, to her. His grandfather as well, Saba Ezra, both of them born 1930s in Baghdad, Iraq. In 1941, her and 150,000 other Jews were displaced. 181 were killed. Then they went along to pillage over 1,800 homes. These are talking points that you can use and you should use.
Absolutely.
I encourage you to pull up a picture of Tal, pull up a picture of his grandmother. And why do I say I encourage you to use it? Well, talking points and the Farhud shouldn't be temporary. Because the way that we talk about Jewish history, the Holocaust, with the Holocaust museums, Yad Vashem, we should be using the same exact sense of urgency for somebody that we have here of our own friend who has a personal anecdote. You know, there's a lot of narrative around the Nakba, yes? The 750,000 Palestinians that were displaced during the 1948 War of Independence. If you want to, not only you can talk about this woman's story. There were 1 million Jews living in the Middle East that were displaced from those Muslim countries during 1948, during the War of Independence. 150,000 of them were in Iraq. So for every 3 Palestinians that were displaced out of Israel, 4 Jews were displaced out of Muslim countries during the same exact time. So when they say, what about the women? What about the children? Here's a great woman for you to bring up a picture.
There you go.
And for every single one woman or kid that they want to talk about that was displaced, we have one woman or kid that we can talk about that was displaced from the Jewish narrative.
There you go.
But the thing is that we don't deploy this sense of urgency. And I really wonder why. So right now, while it's June 1st, June 2nd, 2026, Tal spoke yesterday at the president's house in Israel, and we have a lot of media now, content on the internet about this. It should not be a short wave of information. This information shouldn't be temporary. This information should stick. This woman's story, his grandmother's story, should stick just like any other story. So you have a couple of talking points, but don't make those temporary. Her story is not temporary. Her story is forever. Many of you know that this is Tal.
I love you, Barak. I love you so much, and I appreciate you so much. Video made me very emotional. I teared up when he made this video. He didn't tell me he was making it, by the way. He just went and made it. And by the way, this isn't the first time that Barak did this. Barak went on Roseanne Barr, A-list celebrity Roseanne Barr's podcast, and talked about my grandmother on his podcast. Barak got one of the biggest opportunities of his life to tell his story on one of the biggest platforms where she's friends with Joe Rogan. She's on Piers Morgan. Very big celebrity. He goes on her podcast in Texas and chose to talk about my grandma. Barak is an Ashkenazi Jew who came to Israel just a couple of years ago, didn't grow up in Israel his whole life. He had an experience here when he was young, but born and raised in America, has family that was from Eastern Europe, and he is relaying my story. Why is this so powerful? Why is this so powerful? Me and Barak, for the last couple of years, we've noticed that there's a serious lack of desire in the Jewish world to tell the story of the Mizrahi Jews and the Ethiopian Jews. And this isn't to politicize my grandma's death, but it's an important talking point. There's a lack of intention to tell the story. We noticed every time we tried to tell the story, it either gets shut down, muddled, or there's no interest in it. And like he said, it's not just a temporary talking point. It's not a talking point just to tell on June 1st and June 2nd or whatever the fuck Mizrahi Heritage Month is, which is crazy that we even have that in the American Jewish circle. I don't know if you've noticed what I've been doing on this channel for the last 2 years. All I do is talk about my family. It's mostly that. I mostly just relay the story of my grandma every single day. Every single day. I remind these Islamists, I remind the communists, the Israel haters, the Jew haters, I remind them who I am. That's all I do. And I give you free reign. Use the pictures, use my videos, use the testimony, use everything that my grandma or grandfather has ever said on this YouTube channel. Take it and run with it. The same way that my friend Barak, my dear friend Barak, my brother that I love, has run with it. Nothing gives me a bigger honor than you having fluency in what my grandma went through. That's what me and Barak have been talking about. Fluency in each diaspora's pain. Fluency in each diaspora's genocide. The real Nakba of Arabs happened to the Mizrahi Jews, almost a million displaced in the early 1940s to 1950s. Almost 1 million. It trumps anything the Palestinians ever went through. Trumps it. But no one talks about it. No one talks about it. No one wants to talk about it. And it's sad in our own Jewish circles, no one wants to talk about it. So to end this on a positive note, take Safta's story. Now that she's gone, we can't tell it anymore from her. We can only relay what she's already said. What I say, take it and run with it. If you're a debater, if you're a content creator, if you're a Jew, if you're an Israeli, take Safta Miriam's story, take Saba Eza's story, take it and run with it. Tell it every day. Don't just wait for the Farhud Remembrance Day on June 1st and June 2nd. Don't just wait for Mizrahi Heritage Month. Say it all the time. Talk about it all the time. Remind people. Have fluency in it. Take ownership over it. The same way I feel comfortable talking about what happened in Auschwitz, what happened in Nazi Germany, what happened in Poland, what happened in Hungary, what happened in Romania. The same way I have fluency in what those Jews went through. You should have fluency in what my grandma went through and what the Ethiopian Jewish community went through. The Jews of East Africa, from the Tigray region to Gondar, to the Jews of Sudan and the Jews of Somalia. Yes, there were Jews in those areas. The Jews of Eritrea and Djibouti. Tell those stories of what those Jews went through. Have fluency in it. I think that would be the biggest honor to my grandma who has passed away. It would be the biggest honor of mine to see you have that fluency. I appreciate you all spending the time with me on this video. I'm going to spend as much time during this next couple of days with my family to be with them during this hard time. I will be creating content. I'll come back. I'm not her son, so I don't have a duty to be in the house, so I can actually create content and do and move. Just gonna maybe a little bit slower because I have duty to my family over the next couple of days and to honor her legacy. But I love you guys, and I love every single one of you who has been touched by Safta's story. I know that she meant a lot to potentially millions of people out there because we've reached millions of views with her content. So I appreciate you guys all being a part of her life. She knew, by the way. I told her till the day that she died. I told her how famous she was on the internet and how many people loved her. So I hope you guys know that I appreciate it and she appreciated it, and may we never forget her story. May she live forever in memories of all of us. And may we continue telling her story and passing it from generation to generation. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you very much. Goodbye.